friends, and welcome back to Sheena Naturally. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you're new here, please do not forget to like and subscribe. So today I did a nice glam pink look. Not sure why I went for pink, but I was feeling kind of pink and wanted to do a full coverage look. So I used a full coverage foundation from Juvia's Place. And I used my new Morphe palette. So if you guys want to see how I got this look, go ahead and stay tuned. Thanks. So as you see, my brows and lids are already prepped and primed, ready to go. Using this shade of brown that's like a neutral shade to do my brow bone and upper crease area. And I'm just going to go back and forth in the windshield wiper motion as I go ahead and add that color. This is going to be like my transition color. I always start with a nice brown shade. How dark or light that brown is just really depends on what kind of look I'm going for. Okay, so at this point, I was trying to determine what shade or what color I should go with next. I really wasn't sure what kind of look I was going for. I was just really excited to go and play with this palette. I decided on this really pretty pink color. So I'm just using a smaller dome-shaped brush to go into that crease area again with the back and forth windshield wiper type of motion. And I'm just going back and forth and adding more color on top just to get the desired look that I want. So that's what I'm doing here, just adding on more color as I go. Then as I get to that outer V area, I'm adding more color, and I'm kind of like not smoking it out, but kind of bringing it out, drawing it outward. And this is the color that I'm using in that crease. So it can have like that kind of blown out look, but not too blown out. So that's why I was in that outer V part. I was adding more and kind of brushing it outward. And again, I'm just adding more color just to get the desired look that I want. So now I'm going to blend out that pink a little bit just so it won't be too pink. And I'm just going to add it to that same area where I added that first neutral brown color. I'm going to add that there in between the two where the colors meet, just so it blends together smoothly. And again, it doesn't look like it's two colors on my eyelid. You see how one's blended and one's not? Definitely want to always make sure you blend. Blend is key. Just blend, blend, blend. You can never blend too much because you can always go back and add additional color. So that's an easy fix. Nothing too, to be too worried about. You can always go back and add additional color if you need to. just like I'm doing right now, I'm going to add some more of that pink back in there to that crease area, just because I blended and it took away some of that pink. So now I'm just going to add some more back, just a little bit, but I'm going to continue to blend until I get the desired look. Okay, so what I'm about to do now is I'm going to add concealer onto a brush. I'm just going to choose the same concealer that I used when I primed my lid. And I'm just going to add that to my eyelids. I'm going to pat it onto the eyelid. You don't want to rub it on or brush it on, swipe it on. You really just want to pat that concealer onto that eyelid space. This is where I'm going to put that really pretty pink sparkly color onto my lid. And so what this does, it gives it that cut crease look, but it also makes that pink stand out really, really pretty. Like it's really pigmented. So this would just make it pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with this really pretty pink. It has lots of sparkle in it. It's such a pretty pink. And I'm going to add that where I put the concealer. So again, it's patting motions. And I'm just going to pat that color onto, because it's kind of like packing it on. You just want to pack on that color so it stands out and it's really pigmented and it's pretty and bright. And so I'm just going to pack that on to my lids wherever I put that concealer. So that's what I'm doing there. Just patting that color on. Okay, so here I'm going back in with that same small dome brush and that same pink that I used in the crease. And I'm pretty much just going to go back and blend in that outer V area where the two colors meet, as well as blend that crease just to make sure everything is blended and the colors are blending together smoothly. Again, blending is key. Just want to make sure everything is blended to your desired look. Okay, so now I'm just going to add a little eyeliner to the lid. Not too intense. I didn't want to do like a wing look or anything like that. I just really wanted to just add a little liner, darken it up a little bit in that space for when I add my lashes. So nothing too dramatic or intense, just adding a little liner. And I'm not really sure how I feel about this liner. I know her liquid eyeliner is amazing. Like I love that liner. And maybe I'm just the liquid eyeliner girl, but I mean the color on here is very nice. Like it's a really nice black. It really is. I just not all the way sure how I feel about it, but I'm just filling in that eye with a little liner. Again, not too much, not too dramatic. I didn't want to focus on the eyeliner. I still want it to focus on like the pink and everything. Okay, so the eyes are now done, and I'm going to go ahead with the color correcting. I'm going to use the LA Girl Pro Conceal color, and I'm going to add that above the lip as well as under the eye area. And then once I add that, I'm going to use the concealer, the Fenty Beauty concealer, which is close to my skin tone, and I'm going to add that in with that orange color, just to help with any darkness, because I usually have darkness around the upper lip and right there under the eye. And I never like the real orange look, so that's why I add a concealer that's also close to my skin tone. I feel like it blends in a little bit more and it actually conceals a little bit better. So that's what I'm doing there. And I'm using my fingers, of course, because I think using your finger works a little bit better. And so I'm going to add this primer from Milk on my nose and add a little bit on the forehead and pretty much all over the face a little bit. I kind of like this primer, but I'm starting to use the primers that I have because I noticed that I have quite a bit of primer and I don't ever use primer really. So I'm just trying to use what I have. But this Milk is actually pretty good. So I added that onto the skin and I just patted it in. And as you can see here, I didn't add any more product to the brush, but I'm just blending a little bit with that eyeshadow color. And then I'm taking the black Opal Invisible Oil Blocking Powder. And I'm going over the areas where I color corrected and concealed. So over the mouth area and the nose area, not under the eye because I don't want my under eye to look dry or anything. So I just do it really where I have oily issues. So I usually get oily and sweat and things like down the nose and around the mouth area. Okay, and I'm going to use the Juvia's Place Full Coverage Foundation. This is a really, really nice full coverage foundation. Like, you really don't need a lot. I sometimes get carried away because I sometimes like the makeup look, but not often, not regularly. 80% of the time I'm more of a natural, little bit goes a long way. But every once in a while, I want to, spice it up a little bit and add a little bit more. So when I want to do that, I always use the Juvia's Place foundation. So I'm just making sure I blend that all over my face, starting with the outer portions of my face, and then I work my way into like my nose and forehead. And then I make sure you get like your jawline and your ear by your ear, and of course your hairline and everything. And you're just making sure you're getting that foundation in, you're blending it in all over. Okay, so now we're going to move on to highlighting and then contour. I'm adding this Juvia's Place concealer to the chin area above the mouth, around the nose, on the bridge of the nose, as well as the center of the forehead there, and under the eye, of course. I'm just going to add that concealer in there. And again, with the concealer, when you're highlighting, you don't want to go too light. It's always recommended 2 to 3 shades lighter than your skin tone whenever you want to highlight. And as I'm doing that, of course, I'm going back in. This is why I'm always blending. Like, you can never blend enough, guys. Like, never. So I'm going to pat that concealer into the skin with this concealer brush. So I'm just going all over the areas where I put the concealer, and I'm just blending it or patting it into the skin. Everything is really like a patting motion. I feel like that you get the best results when you're like patting or dabbing into the skin, not necessarily wiping. And then when I get to that eye, I always like to drag that concealer up a little bit because it sharpens that eye, that outer V area of the eye. And it just makes that eyeshadow, and even liner, if you were doing like a wing liner, I would do this as well. It just makes that sharp right there. So that's why I always bring that concealer up where the eyeshadow is, kind of to clean it up and also to make it look neater and sharper. It's like perfect. I really love this Fenty Beauty spray. It's everything. It just makes everything feel so good. So now that I've brushed in that concealer, I'm going to use my damp beauty blender, or it's the Real Techniques blender. And I'm just going to pat into the skin, really pat that concealer in there to get the desired look that I want. And again, going around that eyeshadow, you see how that eyeshadow is now, sharp right there on the outer eye area. That's that concealer. It makes it look so nice and so neat. Okay, now I'm going to use the Juvia's Place concealer in a darker shade. I believe it's shade 5. And I'm going to use that to contour. So along the jawline, the cheeks, the forehead, temple area. I never really contour my nose. I used to, like, all the time, but not so much. And so I'm going to take that brush, and I'm going to like dab. Again, everything is like dabbing, patting motions. So I'm just going to dab that concealer in. And when I get to the cheek area, I always try to like dab upwards, blend upwards and not down, because you want your face to be nice and sharp. So you go up instead of down when you get like in the cheek area. But everywhere else, you just, blending everything out, blending out that contour. Just like your eyeshadows, you want to blend that highlight and that contour. Again, you want everything to blend together smoothly. So I'm just going over the full face with my damp sponge. And I'm just making sure everything is blended the way that I want. So we're just blending, blending, blending. And then I'm going to go in with the Fenty spray again and spray. I love this spray so much. But I think spraying through all the steps, especially when you're using like liquid or cream products, it just helps blend into the skin smoothly, and it makes the skin look more natural, in my opinion. And so now I'm going with that invisible oil blocking powder from Black Opal again, and I'm going to put that everywhere where I did my highlight. So the chin, above the mouth, the nose, the forehead, as well as under my eye area. And so before I wipe any of that that powder off, I'm going to go in with the Fenty Beauty bronzer, Coco Naughty. I love this bronzer. CoverGirl from the Queen Collection was my favorite, or Queen Collection CoverGirl. But now this has become my favorite. So everywhere that I contour with that liquid concealer, I'm going to use that bronzer to go over that area, as well as use the product that's on the brush to kind of wipe away that translucent powder from my face as well. So this part is really just bronzing in the areas where I did my contour, as well as removing that translucent powder. Everywhere except for my eyes. I'm not going to remove it from my eyes just yet. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this small brush and I'm going to add a pink. Not the same pink, it's actually a brighter pink. And I'm going to add that underneath that the lower lash line. And so I'm just going to do both eyes with this brighter pink. Just kind of not necessarily doing the same that I did on top as on the bottom, but it just makes it more of a complete look. So once I get that under eye the way that I desire it to be, I'm going to go ahead and then remove that translucent powder. So I'm just going to use that contour brush that I was using before just to brush off that excess powder. Okay, so now I'm going to use that small brush. I'm going to add this pretty gold. So it's not necessarily like a eyeshadow color. It's really more like a glitter. And then I'm just going to add a little bit into the inner corners of my eye so that I could just have like that little sparkle. It's like that color is great to add on top of another color if you want to add a little sparkle to the look. but it's not necessarily like an eyeshadow. It's more like a packed glitter, but it's such a pretty color. I love it. Moving on to highlighting powder, I'm going to use the Becca Champagne Pop, and I'm going to add that to that upper cheek area. And it's such a pretty gold color. I love gold. I don't know why. I just love gold. I love bronze too. Like they have really, really pretty illuminators and things in like bronze colors. And they're always so gorgeous, especially during the summertime. So I'm just going to add that a little bit to the forehead and chin and above the lip. Just a little bit though, but mostly focus on the cheek. I love when it's like making the cheek pop. Then once I do that, I'm going to use the MAC blush in the shade Raizin. It's such a pretty, pretty brown color. I think every person, every brown skinned girl should have that blush. It's really pretty and it works well for just about every skin tone that I've seen. So I'm just going to add that blush to the cheeks. Okay, and still blending that blush in, and then I'm going to pop on some lashes from Lilly Lashes. They are the So Miami, extra So Miami. And then I'm going to go in with the mascara, the primer for under the eye, and then go in with my mascara. Lashes are on, mascara is on, and so I'm just going to go in with that brow gel from Anastasia. I'm just going to brush over my brows to complete the look, and then I'm going to move on to my lip color, which I'm going to go with a soft nude. I love nude, especially when I do like bright colorful eyes. I tend to go really soft on the lip. And so I'm just going to fill in the lip and go with a soft nude color and add some gloss on top of that. And this is from Colored Raine. It looks really scary, like it looks really bright, but that's why I use kind of a really dark brown liner to fill in the lips, and then I'm going over with that light color. It kind of blends it in together and it doesn't look scary. Like, especially once I put the gloss on top, it doesn't look scary at all. Trust me, it's really pretty. So we're just finishing up with the final touches on the lips, moving the hair out of the way. And then I'm going to go ahead with the Makeup Forever setting spray. I'm just going to spray that all over. Really, really nice setting spray. Can't get enough of that one either. It's actually one of my favorites. So that's it, guys. That completes the look. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys on the next video.